Hello everyone, as always, Sir Howard here. Welcome to another lecture that we will have in Introduction to Psychology. Ngayon, pag-uusapan natin yung part 2 ng ating lecture on human personality. But before we dig deeper into part 2, balikan lang natin ng mabilis yung part 1. Let's have a quick review on what you've learned from part 1. Alright, so I'm going to give you some items here and then you get a piece of paper and you answer the following items. Number 1, based on what you've learned, answer this question. You are on a date. Your date got angry to the waiter who got the order wrong. Nagalit siya, mali yung order na binigay sa kanya. Now, your answer here is a yes or no. You can say that this is already your boyfriend's personality. If you have been listening to my lecture, the correct answer here is no, not yet, kasi this is only one situation. And based on the definition of personality, personality is defined by average different situations, a person's pattern in different situations. So in this case, this is only an isolated case. Siguro yung boyfriend dito is just having a bad day. That's why he became like this. But what will make this answer a yes? If this boyfriend of yours is always like this, almost always like this, tuwing merong maling bibigay na order yung waiter, nagagalit siya, then the answer here would be a yes. But how would you know if your boyfriend is really like that? Well, you have to expose him in different restaurant situations where a waiter will get the order wrong and find out if he will be always reacting that way. So kapag lagi siyang ganun, lagi siyang nagwawala pag mali yung order na binigay sa kanya, then that would be his personality. But in this item, not yet enough, not enough data. Maybe he's just having a bad day. So the correct answer here is a no. Number 2, personality is a person's what? Consistent way of. What are the 3 components of our psyche that refers to our personality? Thinking, feeling, and behaving. How you constantly or how you usually think, feel, and act in certain situations will make up your personality. So kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung ugali ng tao, gusto mo yung ugali ng isang tao or ayaw mo yung ugali niya, what is that you like or you don't like? The person's way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Number 3, given the following statements, which are statements that describe personality? So I'm going to give you enough time, 10 seconds. Choose the sentences here which you think refers to personality. The correct answer here is, isa-isahin na lang natin, no, para ma-gets nyo, okay? Wait lang, I need my pen here. Alright. So, the first statement, she is gorgeous. Is this personality or no? It's not personality because gorgeous here is physical and personality is non-physical. Ben is too demanding. Yes, it is personality because being demanding is a behavior. Sheila is a happy person. Yes, this is a statement about personality because the word happy here refers to feeling. He is wearing a cool cap. Answer, no, this is not personality because cool cap has nothing to do with personality because again, ang personality, hindi naman physical yan. Diba? Yung sombrero mo na maganda, walang kinalaman yan sa personality mo. You just have a cool cap but it says nothing about your personality. It has to be a form of thinking, feeling, or behaving. Last one, she is so good with people. Yes, this is a statement of personality because this is about behavior. Being good with people, you connect well with others, alam mo kung paano kumausap ng ibang tao, then definitely this is personality. Alright? So I hope you got all those items. Next, number 4, Dan is highly aggressive. His dad is also aggressive. His mom is also aggressive. What does this say about human personality? What's the keyword? That personality can be hereditary. Hereditary. Right? It has something to do with our genes. there are certain personality traits that we have that we inherited from our parents. Sa Tagalog, meron tayong mga kaugalian na namamana natin from our parents. Next, number 5. True or false, all personality traits are shaped by genetics? The answer here is false, because meron tayong mga ugali we don't genetically inherit, rather, we learned from our environment. Tinuruan tayo ng environment natin to have that personality attribute. Tinuruan kang maging aggressive, tinuruan kang maging tamad, tinuruan kang maging bastos, pwede rin yun. No? Depende kung sino yung mga nakapaligid sa'yo. And those people, those environmental forces constantly shape your personality. So it's not always genetic. Sometimes personality traits or attributes come from outside. Number 6, true or false, the genetic influence on one's personality can still be changed by the environment? The correct answer here is true. Hindi porket meron kang genes for a certain personality attribute, wala ka nang magagawa doon. That is still modifiable by the environment. Just refer to my previous video to review some of the examples I have given you. So, hindi porket meron kang dugo o meron kang lahi ng isang personality attribute, it means that's permanent. The environment is so powerful that it can still modify those personality attributes to a certain degree. Kaya pang baguhin yung mga ganong ugali through the environment. And last one, number 7, any person's personality is both the influence of genes and environment. Again, the word here is and. Okay, don't use the word or. It's not either genes or environment, it's both. Sa Tagalog, parehong may contribution yung namana mo from your parents at yung environment where you are into your current personality. Alright, so I hope you got all those items. If you got all those items correct, then that means you have learned from part 1 of our lecture on personality. Now let's move on to part 2 of my lecture on personality. Today I want to answer this question: how to read personality? Paano ba binabasa yung ugali ng isang tao? Kasi, di ba hindi lang naman puro libro yung gusto nating basahin. There are times, in fact, a lot of times, we want to understand people better. And the only way that we can understand a person better is if we are able to read the person. Where is the person coming from? That explains bakit siya ganyan, bakit siya ganito. Diba? So the question is it really possible for us to read the personality of a person so we can better understand the person? The answer is yes. Personality can be read. Meron tayo mga pwedeng gawin para mabasa natin kung ano at kung bakit ganun ang ugali ng isang tao. And there are 2 ways how we do that in psychology. Number 1, we can observe the person and then from there come up with that person's personality profile. But unfortunately, for this one, this is very advanced skill. Ginagawa na ito ng mga professionals, tinuturo ito in master's degree and in PhD, but not in undergraduate level. Alright, so this will involve a lot of advanced skills. So hindi natin pag-uusapan to, but it's possible. It's possible just to look at the person, observe the person's behavior, listen to what he or she says, and then accurately come up with a personality profile of that person. Alright? So if you want to learn this skill, what do? You take master's or PhD. But today, we are going to talk about how to read a person's personality using personality testing. That is another way that we can read a person, no, through giving this person series of personality tests. And if you are a psych major, this is one of the skills that you need to have, that you are expected to have, how to administer, how to understand, how to interpret personality tests in understanding a person's personality. Alright, but I am going to just limit our discussion today on discussing in general, hindi muna ako magiging specific dito, about general things about the 2 personality tests that are very popular in our field. The first one is called the Big 5 personality test and the second one is called MBTI, short for Myers-Briggs type indicator. Again, ano tong dalawang to? Ito ay dalawang klase ng personality test that we use if we want to read, quote-unquote, read the personality of a person. So, unahin natin yung Big 5 personality test. If you take this test, so the person will be answering items, and then the person will be answering those items in terms of numbers, also known as Likert format. Diba? Likert. So, you can picture this, no? There is a statement, and then, depending how much that person agrees with the statement, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest, bibilog siya ng sagot dyan, let's say a 4, and then he proceeds to the next item until he finishes the test. Maliwanag, ang tawag doon ay Likert format. More about that when we talk about this in psychological measurement. But anyway, to make the long story short, if you take the Big 5 personality test, ang ending mo, makakakuha ka ng 5 different scores which represent the 5 different components of your personality. So the Big 5 personality test looks at personality that way. Yung ugali natin, pwede nating mahati into 5 smaller components. So to put that in a diagram, it looks something like this. Here's your personality. Your personality consists of 5 super traits, as they call it. So, i-combine mo yung 5 super traits na yan, that will be your overall personality. Now, what are those 5 super traits na bumubuo sa ugali mo? It's very easy to remember because you can use the acronym OCEAN. O, C, E, A, and N, which refers to the following words. Openness for letter O, C for conscientiousness, E for extroversion, A for agreeableness, and N for neuroticism. So, I want you to really memorize this. If you are a psych major, you need to know this. Okay? Ang ugali ng tao, according to the Big 5, consists of 5 super traits. OCEAN. Memorize nyo yun, ha? Word for word. Openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Now, one thing you have to remember about these 5 basic components is lahat tayo meron yan. All of us have OCEAN. So, ako, nanay ko, tatay ko, best friend ko, lahat ng taong kakilala ko, lahat tayo, lahat kayong nakikinig sa akin, we have all OCEAN. Kaya nga, they're saying this is universal. All human beings have OCEAN. We just differ in the levels of each of our OCEAN. So a person, there are people who are very high in letter O. Some people are very low in letter O. Some people are high in letter C. Some people average letter C. Some people low in letter C. Some people have very high letter N. Some people have low N. Some people have average letter N. So on and so forth. So that's the way you should see the OCEAN. Lahat tayo meron yan, but we just differ in the levels of each of those personality components. Now, what we will do in the next slides is, I am going to quickly discuss kung ano bang ibig sabihin nung OCEAN, right? And then, we will come up with certain examples of specific personality traits that may reflect each one of the OCEAN. Let's start with openness, or letter O. This is a person's tendency. So each OCEAN, each of the letters in the OCEAN is a tendency which a person can be high or low at. Letter O, your tendency to try out new experiences. So for those people with very high tendency to try new experiences, usually we label them with words, no? Like for example, we call them liberal or daring. Gusto nila lagi silang may bagong na-experience. They get easily bored with the usual. That's high letter O. While people with low letter O are called conservative. Can you picture why? Kasi mababa ang openness mo, ibig sabihin, you don't like new things. You want to stay as is. Whatever is old, whatever is currently working, then we stick with the old plan. O, mga conservative yun. Gusto nila doon sa makaluma. So again, a lot of us, o lahat tayo, meron tayong O, but some of us have high, some of us have low letter O. Alright, so given that definition of letter O, exercise, I would like you to think of some other specific examples of how a high openness person or a low openness person will behave in everyday life. Meron ba kayo naiisip na mga examples like high openness? Sila yung mga may hilig na mag-try ng bagong pagkain. 'Di ba? Lagi nilang hinahanap yon, yung bagong bukas na restaurant, let's try it out. Bagong bukas na shop, let's try it out. Let's have a review about that shop. They are always in the search for the new. They are so open to try out new things. Or even in religion, yung mga taong mataas ang openness, meron silang pananaw that all religions are valid. So they want to try out different religions. May mga ganun eh. 'Di ba? Itatry yung Christianity, itatry yung Buddhism, maya-maya itatry yung Islam. They are okay doing that because they have high level of openness. Yung mga conservative, yung mga low ang openness, again, when it comes to food, they wouldn't like to try out a new variant of food kasi baka hindi masarap. They don't like to risk. People with low openness, they rarely take risk. Kasi when you take risk, that means you're trying something new. You are doing something you have never done before, and people with low openness are not comfortable with that. Gusto nila yung makaluma, gusto nila yung subok na. So hindi sila susubok ng mga bagong food o orderin nila yung dati na nilang paborito, no? What else? When it comes to religion, naniniwala sila na hindi lahat ng religion ay valid. Meron lang isang religion na yun lang ang tama, and the rest may problema in those religions. So those are some examples of how people will differ in connection to their level of openness. All right? Okay, now let's move on to conscientiousness. This is a person's overall tendency to be responsible and organized in life. Just remember those two big words, responsibility and organization. Kapag mataas ka sa responsibility and organization, then you have high conscientiousness. Obsessive-compulsive ka, aral ka sa sarili, masyado kang organized. Gusto mo lahat sa buhay mo nakaplano, gusto mo lahat sa buhay mo naka-organize, ayaw mo ng magulo. Those are people with high conscientiousness. People with low conscientiousness, baliktad. They are very happy-go-lucky. They don't like planning. They don't care if their things are disorganized. Sa Tagalog, ang tawag natin dyan mga burara. You know, walang organization sa buhay, walang organization sa gamit, but they are fine with that. So given that definition of conscientiousness, same exercise, I want you to think of specific behaviors or expressions of someone high in conscientiousness and someone low in conscientiousness. So, tulad nga na sinabi ko kanina, high letter C, gusto mo lahat maayos. So, yung cabinet mo, gusto mo yung mga t-shirt, pantay-pantay ang tupi. Ayaw mo ng merong magulong tupi. Kapag merong isang magulong tupi, hindi ka mapakali, what do? Talagang hihinto mo lahat ng ginagawa mo just to organize yung hindi maayos na tupi. Okay? Low conscientiousness, well, again, they hate planning. So, kapag niyaya mo yung mga taong mababa ang conscientiousness, let's say on a trip, or let's go to Baguio. Okay? And then you ask them, so what we will do in Baguio? People with low level of conscientiousness, they would not like to schedule things. 'Di ba? Ang philosophy nila, will take it from there. We'll cross the bridge when we're there. Doon pa lang mag-iisip sa Baguio kung ano ang mga gagawin. For now, kuha lang muna tayo ng kotse, let's drive to Baguio. But people with high conscientiousness, they're not like that. Before you invite me, make sure meron kang itinerary. Make sure alam natin kung anong gagawin natin. Anong next, anong oras babalik, anong oras babiyahe, sino mga kasama, anong mga restaurants yung kakainan. Very different. Okay? So those are examples of people with high and low conscientiousness. Ito, dagdag ko lang, no? Kapag mataas ang conscientiousness mo, more or less, your things are organized this way. As in, sobrang ayos, ayaw mo nang may magulo. Ayaw mo nang merong wala sa order, naiinis ka, naiirita ka. Okay? While people with low conscientiousness, they don't care if their objects or if their things are not organized. Pero yung mga taong mabababa ang conscientiousness, meron silang ilusyon na itong kwarto nila ay organized na raw yan. Oo, nagligpit na raw sila sa lagay na yan. Diba? Kasi nga mababa yung kanilang conscientiousness, no? Mababa yung standard nila kung anong ibig sabihin ng maayos. Now, let's move on to letter E or extroversion. This is a person's tendency to join a group or to seek interactions. Yung mga taong mataas ang letter E, they are often called the extroverts. They are very outgoing, party boys or party girls. They always like to talk to people. The presence of other people, the presence of groups, the presence of social events give them energy. Kaya yung mga high ang extroversion, they feel empowered when there are a lot of people around them. They get excited, which is very different from people with low letter E, also known as the introverts, the loners, or the emos. Sila naman yung mga tao na they get tired if there are a lot of people. Naiinis sila kasi maingay. Naiinis sila kasi they are not comfortable maintaining or entertaining other people. Alam na alam ko yung low letter E because personally, I am very low in extroversion. People like us, the introverts, when we go to social gatherings, okay, and there are many people and we stay there for long, the next day, we need a break. Maybe some of you can relate with me. Yung na-feel nyo na ba yung parang gusto nyo munang magpahinga? Kasi pagod na pagod kayo, ang dami yung nakitang tao the other night. So ayaw mo muna makakita ng tao for the next 3 days. You want time for yourself, right? Ganun yung mga low ang letter E. On the other hand, people high in letter E, may party sila last night, gusto nila may event ulit today. Gusto nila may event ulit bukas. Because again, the presence of other people, interactions with other people give them energy. So the same exercise, given the definition of extroversion, isip nga kayo ng mga specific examples of patterns that people do who are high or low in extroversion. So nagbigay na ako ng mga ibang examples kanina, no? Gusto lagi may party, yung mga high letter E. Siguro marami silang friends sa Facebook. 5 na yung profile na kailangan para magkasya yung mga kakilala nila, no? What else? They are often invited to different gatherings kasi masaya sila kasama. They are the life of the party. Yung mga mabababa naman yung extroversion, again, usually you see them alone in solitary places, in the library, in coffee shops, they read books, tapos meron silang nakakabit na earphones because they don't like to talk to anyone. So on and so forth. Alright? Or the introverts in general. Kapag mababa ang extroversion mo, ibig sabihin, introvert ka. Okay? So, kaway-kaway dyan yung mga introverts na kagaya ko. Diba? Yung talagang feel natin yung mag-isa lang tayo. Ayaw natin ng masyadong maraming tao. Now, don't get me wrong, ha? Introverts, being an introvert doesn't mean you hate people. That's antisocial. Iba yung introvert sa antisocial. Okay, antisocial, gusto mong durugin yung ibang tao. You know, but we, introverts, we have no problem with other people. Wag lang masyadong marami. Wag lang masyadong marami yung interaction. You know? So, okay lang kami na mayroong mga ibang tao sa Starbucks. Basta, wag nyo lang kami masyadong kausapin. You know, you respect our space. Alright? So, that's introversion. In contrast to extroversion. Okay. How about letter A or agreeableness? This is your tendency to experience or to want to have positive interactions with others. Don't be confused between agreeableness and extroversion. Iba yun. Extroversion, you want the presence of other people, you want interactions, but agreeableness is specific to positive interactions. Gusto mo yung lahat ng interactions mo maganda. Diba? Ayaw mo ng away, ayaw mo ng conflict. So, a person can be extrovert pero mababa ang agreeableness, which means gusto lang talaga niya manginis. Gusto lang niya talagang manggulo or mang-away. Pero yung mga taong mataas ang agreeableness, ayaw nila ng away. They are very mabait. They are magaling makisama from the term they agree. Kaya nga, agreeable eh. Bihira silang kumontra. They go with what the majority wants. They go with what will make everyone happy. Kaya masasarap kasama yung mga high ang letter A. They just go along with the group. On the other hand, people with low letter A, mababa agreeableness, they are usually the critics. Sila yung mga kontrabida, mahirap pakisamahan because most of the time they disagree. Lagi gusto nila iba sila compared to the majority at meron silang tendency na awayin yung mga tao na hindi nag-agree sa pananaw nila. O kaya yung mga taong matataas yung mga taong mabababa ang letter A maraming mga kaaway dyan at maraming may galit dyan sa mga taong ganyan. Alright? So, can you think of some other examples of expressions of a person high in A or low in A? So, nagbigay na ako ng mga examples kanina. High in A, payag lang ng payag, yes lang ng yes. Kaya ito yung mga masasarap utangan. Ito yung mga masasarap na nahiraman ng mga gamit because one difficulty they have is the difficulty of saying no. Do you know people like that? Yung hirap silang maghindi. Ayaw na nila, hindi na nila kaya, pero they don't like to disappoint people. They will keep on saying yes. Diba? Kapag ganun ka, or pag may kakilala kang ganun, mataas yung letter A nun. Low in letter A, some other examples would be, yun na nga, kontra ng kontra, inaaway yung majority, gusto niya lagi siyang kakaiba, gusto niya lagi siyang panalo, gusto lagi nakikipagdebate. Yun yung mga low ang letter A. Some examples in history would be Jesus in the Bible, very high in letter A. Talagang bihira siyang mag-no, lalo na sa mga tao who needs him. Diba? Imagine yung lahat ng tao nakapila sa kanya kasi ginagamot niya lahat ng physical ailments of people going to him. That involves a lot of agreeableness. But meron akong gustong idagdag dito, no? Although Jesus was high in agreeableness, there are still instances in his ministry where he showed traits of disagreeableness, especially when he was critiquing the ways of the Pharisees and the Sadducees na inaabuso yung mga tao na mali ang pananaw sa religion. Diba? Remember that part in the Bible, the woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees. Trait yun ng mababang agreeableness, pero minsan-minsan lang niya ginagawa yun. Kapag talagang kailangan na, kapag sobra na, nagdi-disagree din naman siya. So, a lesson about personality here is, hindi porket mataas ka sa letter A, it means you are no longer showing attributes opposite of that letter that you are high in. 'Di ba? Hindi ka laging nandoon sa extreme of that letter. Paminsan-minsan naglo-low letter A ka rin, but only in some situations. Kung baga, sa computer language, yung default mo, yung madalas mo, high letter A. Pero paminsan-minsan, pag bad day ka, naglo-low letter A ka rin naman. Okay? So you can still move within the continuum of high A or low A. The same with other letters. How about Hitler? This is a good example of a person na talagang mababa ang agreeableness niyan. Ayaw niyang makisama, ayaw niyang makipag-cooperate. Diba? Kayo ang makipag-cooperate sa akin. If you don't agree with me, let's just agree to disagree, and I'm going to do something bad to you because you disagree with me. Ganon yung perspective ng mga taong mababa ang agreeableness. A more modern example of someone low in letter A would be Simon Cowell. Yung mga nanonood dito ng American Idol, di ba? Anong personality trait meron si Simon Cowell? He's very hard to please. That's another marker of someone low in agreeableness. Ang hirap nilang pasayahin. Ang hirap nila i-satisfy. You have to be very, very good. You have to be a master in doing something for them to be impressed. 'Di ba? Ang hirap nilang mag-agree na okay yung ginagawa mo. Okay? So if you know anyone or maybe ganyan ka, you're hard to please, then maybe mababa yung iyong agreeableness. And last one, number 5, let's go to neuroticism. This is your tendency to experience negative emotions tulad ng worry, guilt, and fear. All those emotions are very negative. If you feel those emotions, you don't feel good. What do we call people who often feel these negative emotions? The pessimists. Laging negative yung pakiramdam. Laging negative yung perspective. Praning, and they easily feel bad. Who among you here are like that? Yung may mangyari lang konti, you immediately feel bad. And there are times na yung nangyari, it does not involve you, but you feel bad. May mga ganong tao no? Matataas yung mga neuroticism nila. While those people low in neuroticism, mababa ang neuroticism, so mababa yung negative emotions, you call them the optimists. They have the tendency to always see the bright side than the dark side. Hindi sila masyado nagfo-focus doon sa pangit, nagfo-focus sila doon sa maganda. So one good way to test the neuroticism of a person without giving a psychological test is the glass half full or half empty test. Diba? So kapag magpakita ka ng isang glass na may kalahating tubig, some people will see the glass half full, malapit ng mapuno. So those are the optimists, low in neuroticism. Compare that to people who see this as, malapit na maubos, sad naman. That's high letter N, high in neuroticism. Alright? Okay, so as always, again, another exercise, think of some expressions of someone na mataas ang letter N and someone na mababa ang letter N. Yung example ko kanina, yung kapag nagpakita ka ng baso na may kalahating tubig, yung mga matataas ang letter N, how do they see this? Malapit na maubos. Yung mabababa ang letter N, the optimist, malapit nang mapuno. Ano pa? Ito yung mga laging praning. 'Di ba yung they always see the danger kahit na sobrang layo naman mangyari. Like, let's say, a friend of yours enters your house and then nakita nyo yung bubong ninyo parang may konting sira. Nafe-feel bad na siya, natatakot na siya na baka habang nandun siya, yung bubong bumagsak na lang. Ganon katindi yung mga taong matataas ang neuroticism. They always find reasons to be scared. Diba? Hala, gabi na, baka may magnanakaw. Hala, umaga na, baka maaksidente ako. Hala, yung mama, tingin ng tingin sa akin, baka hold-upper yun. Ganon sila, they're very suspicious because they always expect bad things to happen in the world. At alam nyo kung sino yung madalas na ganyan? No offense, no? Pero napansin ko lang, karamihan ng mga mothers, mataas ang neuroticism, which I think for a good reason naman. The reason why most mothers are high in neuroticism is they want to protect the family. Diba? So as much as possible, they spot as many dangers as possible and warn the family about those potential dangers. Kaya wag na kayong mainis kapag yung mami nyo minsan OA. Diba? Yung wala ka pa sa bahay ng 5 o'clock ng hapon, nagte-text na. That's neuroticism for a good reason naman. Alright? Okay, how about people with low neuroticism? Ito yung mga taong chill lang. I think I like that word, chill. Diba may kakilala ba kayong ganyan? Yung marami ng mga dangers around, bad things around happening, but they are just chill. They have this ability to relax, not to be affected by negative events in the environment. Ngayon, according to studies, yung mga matataas ang letter N or the neurotics, not good news, studies show that if you have high letter N, you are prone to poor health. You know why? Because you're always stressed. Kapag lagi kang negative, you always feel negative emotions, it increases cortisol levels in your body. And as we will discuss in biopsychology, cortisol, the hormone cortisol, too much of this in our body is not good. It becomes poison. It can explain a number of physiological abnormalities pag masyadong mataas ang cortisol level, which can be explained by the person being very neurotic. Prone din sila sa depression, prone din sila sa atake sa puso at sa suicide. That's why if you are high in letter N, piece of advice, make some ways how to lower down your letter N. Isa ito sa mga bagay na dapat mong sinisiguradong mababa when it comes to your personality, yung letter N. You need to get this low or at least within average levels. Alright? On the other hand, according to studies, people with low letter N, again, the optimist, those who see the light, those who see hope in danger, they are more likely to be happier and live a longer life. And this is also connected to well-being. If you want to have a better well-being, you want to have a better psychological health, that's one way to do it. Lower down your letter N. Okay? Now, share ko lang no, sa Filipino culture daw, what do you think? Overall, Filipinos, are we high or low in letter N? Based on observation, we are low in letter N. 'Di ba? Filipinos are very well known for still smiling even if bad things happen to them. Like for example, as you can see in the picture, yung binahana yung bahay mo, bahana yung buong barangay, pero for some reason, Filipinos can still afford to smile and can still afford to have fun in spite of the situation. So this is another good expression of low neuroticism. 'Di ba? Yung mga Pilipino laging chill lang, and according to cultural psychologists, in a way, Filipinos having low neuroticism is good because it contributes big time to our resilience, which is a very important psychological trait or personality trait. Ibig sabihin lang ng resilience in Tagalog, sa simpleng Tagalog, ito yung tibay mo. Kahit maraming nangyayaring masama sa'yo, nakaka-bounce back ka pa rin. Matibay ang loob mo, matatag ang loob mo. Most Filipinos are like that. And that can be explained by most Filipinos having low neuroticism. Alright? So, just to summarize the big 5 personality traits, I want you to do this exercise. Okay? Follow instructions. Identify what component of personality is being described, which of the 5, O, C, E, A, or N, and state whether this component is high or low given the statement. So, ang isasagot nyo dito is ganito, no? High or low O, high or low C, high or low E, high or low A, or high or low N, depending on the statements. Ready? Let's do this. Number 1. Full screen na lang natin para kita nyo. Joseph is always early in meetings and makes sure he is prepared 1 week before a big presentation. Pag ganyan ang ugali ni Joseph, we can say he is high in letter C. This is an expression of conscientiousness. Number 2, always fighting with friends who disagrees with him. This is an expression of low in agreeableness. Lagay natin, no? High C, low A. Constantly wanting to attend parties every weekend. This is high extroversion. Jojo cannot say no when someone borrows money from him. Kaya masarap utangan si Jojo. High agreeableness. Jen is constantly depressed, especially when people don't appreciate her. Ayan. High in neuroticism. Yung mga ganyang issue, hindi siya inappreciate, nadidepress. May kakilala nga ako, no, hindi lang sinoli yung ballpen na feel bad na. Ang interpretation niya, kaya raw hindi sinoli yung ballpen sa kanya because people take him for granted. Grabe, no? Ganun yung interpretation ng mga taong mataas ang letter N. So, almost everything is bad. Alright? Next, let's move on to number 6 na tayo. Pia is very talkative inside the classroom. Ang pagiging madaldal is an expression of This is high in extroversion. Kasi gusto mo lagi makipag-usap sa ibang tao, di ba? So, that's an expression of extroversion. Number 7, Jim always forgets to do his assignment. This is low in conscientiousness. Kasi hindi nagpaplano. Hindi niya nililista kung kailan yung deadline ng assignment, kaya nalilimutan niya na gawin yung assignment niya. Diba? Pero yung mga taong mataas ang conscientiousness, lahat yan nakalista para hindi niya malilimutan, wala siyang mamimiss out. Number 8, Bert is happy about small things in his life. Appreciating the small things in life is an expression of low in neuroticism. On the other hand, yung mga taong mataas ang neuroticism, laging bugnutin, laging malungkot because they focus on things they don't have. Kaya nga prone sila sa depression di ba? Kaya dapat pababain nyo yung inyong mga letter N, ha? Number 9, Jean is hated by her blackmates, which is an indication that maybe Jean has, low agreeableness. Pag maraming tao galit sa'yo, lahat nagpe-pray sila na sana absent ka, lahat pinagdarasal nila na huwag ka nang pumasok, malamang sa malamang, mababa ang agreeableness mo. And number 10, Nico has 1,000 Facebook friends is an expression of high in extroversion. Kasi ang dami mong kaibigan. Gusto mo, connect ka ng connect sa ibang tao. But the question is, why does Nico want to have many friends? Is it because he wants to have good time? Is it because he wants to improve other people's lives? Or Nico simply wants to piss off the 1,000 friends? That we don't know. And that will determine whether Nico, in that case, will be high or low in agreeableness. But again, wag kayong malilito, extroversion is different from agreeableness. Alright? So that's all about the Big 5 personality test. Now let's move on to the second type of test that we are going to discuss, the MBTI, short for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. I'm sure many of you, this is not the first time you have heard of this name, and many of you have taken this test before. Para dun sa mga nakalimot, ito yung test na kapag kinuha mo, you end up having 4-letter word, or in the language of MBTI, if you want to know your typology. Diba? Yung word na type dito, dun nang galing yun sa word na typology. If you want to indicate what your personality type is, then you take the MBTI. So at the end of the test, this test will show you or will let you know what is your typology. How many possible typologies? Nakalagay dyan, there are 16. Pero sa 16 na yon, isa lang yung typology mo. Okay, so let's just go full screen. Yan, 16 yan, no? 16 possible typologies. So, you can be one of the 16. Are you an ISTJ? Are you an ISFJ, INFJ, INTJ? So on and so forth. And each typology, if you go online, marami dyan may mga words na ganito, no? This is like a summary of the personality attribute of a person with that typology. So, let's say you are ENFP. In summary, ano ang ugali ng tao na ENFP? Ito. To summarize ENFP, according to the slide, giving life an extra squeeze. Or let's say you are ESFJ. Ano ang summary ng ugali ng isang taong ESFJ? Nag-host and hostesses of the world. But if you want more specific details other than these summaries, mga summaries lang kasi yan eh. You want some elaboration, right? Then you can just read this on your own. So that's what you do. You go online, you search for websites that offers MBTI, you take the test, and then you know your typology, and then most websites naman, they will give you the specific long details about your typology. Like for instance, ako ginawa ko to, no? Personally, I am ISTJ. So, naghanap ako ng website na nag-administer ng MBTI, and then I took the test. I am ISTJ, which means something like this. So, kayo nang bahala magbasa. Ayan. And I would have to say, no, na based on what is written here, more or less, it's very accurate. In a scale of 0 to 10, I would be giving this an 8. Talagang nahuli ng test na ito yung ugali ko. I am really like this. Okay, so you try. Kung ganun din ba yung magiging experience nyo, you will be doing that in your post-lecture assignment. Okay, which I'm going to discuss later. So, nagets nyo, that's what you mean by MBTI. Again, pag Big 5, as the term implies, 5, your personality will be measured into 5 components, while MBTI, you take the personality test, it will give you your typology, the 4-letter combination that summarizes your overall personality. Now, before we leave this section on personality test, no, meron lang akong sasabihing mahalaga. Not all personality tests are valid. Let me repeat, not all personality tests are valid. Don't go online and then just search for random online personality test, take it, and then know the results, and then post it in Facebook, and then that's you. Or ask people to answer online personality test and then judge them based on the results. Because not all tests, especially online, are valid personality tests. Merong mga personality tests na for fun lang. May mga personality tests na talagang, sorry for the word, no, basura. It is not designed to really capture the person's overall personality. We look for standards from personality test para masabi natin that that personality test is legit. And unfortunately, a lot of personality tests that you take, especially online, especially within social media, usong-uso yan, most of these personality tests are not valid. They're not legitimate. So don't take those tests seriously. Siguro you can take this test but only for fun. Huwag nyo masyadong i-internalize, huwag nyo masyadong dibdibin yung mga results ng mga test na yan because again, they lack the quality of being a good personality test. Ano ba yung mga qualities of being a good personality test? Well, we need to talk about reliability of the test. We need to talk about the validity of the test, which we will all discuss in psychological measurement. And most of the tests that you find online, especially within social media, these tests don't have reliability and validity. Okay? So, wag nyo masyadong seseryosohin yung mga test na nakukuha nyo online. So, more about that as we approach psychological measurement in your program. Alright? So, let me just share with you, just to close this discussion, no, some concluding thoughts about personality and personality test. I have two. Dalawang concluding thoughts about personality. So, what can we learn after all these things? Number one, I hope you realize along the way that human personality can be scientifically understood. Human personality can be scientifically understood. Yes, you can read a person like a book. And you do that by reading their personality. Personality must not be a mystery. Hindi misteryo yan. Hindi tayo dapat masatisfy na, oh, ganyan yung ugali niya kasi ganyan talaga siya. Hindi. Pwede nating maintindihan kung bakit siya ganun. There are scientific ways on how to study human personality. In fact, I would even consider this as one of the most important questions that you should know about yourself and other people. Diba? Ano ang ugali mo? Bakit ganyan ang ugali mo? Personality test can help you answer this question. Okay? Number two, in connection to number one, medyo related pero iba sila, no? Number two, knowing personality can lead to better quality of life. So in number one, in-establish natin na ang personality pwedeng pag-aralan, hindi siya mystery. There are scientific ways, there are scientific tools that we can use to understand personality. For what? Bakit mo kinakailangan maintindihan yung ugali mo o yung ugali ng ibang tao? Well, it can help you achieve a better quality of life. I remember the words of Socrates in connection to this. He said, the unexamined life is not worth living. So kapag hindi mo naiintindihan, hindi mo in-examine yung personality mo, what happens? Your life loses worth. Not worth eh. So hindi mo alam, hindi mo naintindihan ugali mo, mababa ang worth ng buhay mo. But you apply the reverse. If you do examine your life, if you do understand your own personality or other people's personality, then your life increases in worth. Tumataas ngayon yung worth ng buhay mo kapag naintindihan mo yung ugali mo. Bakit tumataas yung worth? Saan ang galing yon? What happened in your life when you understand your personality that it increased your worth? Kasi when you understand your personality, that is one way for you to increase the quality of life. You become happier. You become more at peace. You relate well with other people. You become more self-determined. Mas madaling mag-decide sa'yo kung saan ka papunta, anong pipiliin mo sa buhay mo because you know who you are. You know what your personality is. And those things will add worth to your life. Okay? Kaya nasabi ni Socrates yon, no? Now, how do you increase your quality of life in connection to knowing your personality? This is a very important term in psychology. Take this down on your notebooks. Very important. Para maging maganda yung quality ng life mo, you need to achieve person-environment fit. Very important term in psychology. Person-environment fit. This is a person's what? Personality. This happens when A person's personality is matched or suitable, or in Tagalog, bagay with the environment. Yan ang isang effective na paraan kung gusto mong mag-improve yung iyong well-being, to increase the quality of your life. Make sure that your personality or the environment that you are in is fit with your personality, suitable with your personality. Bagay sa personality mo yung environment mo. So if you are living in that kind of environment, your personality is in line with your environment, then you have person-environment fit, and that is good. Tumataas ang well-being ng mga tao na merong person-environment fit. And did you know that this idea that there has to be a match between the person and the environment is biblical? Yes, for example, in the book of Romans, we can hear overtones of person-environment fit. Let me read for you. According to the Apostle Paul, we have different gifts. See, yung different gifts dito is an aspect of personality. Where you're good at, what are you interested about, are components of personality. According to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, again, kung ang personality mo ay prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, a personality trait, you have a tendency to want to serve, then you serve in your environment. If it is teaching, then teach. What's the principle? Yung gift mo na binigay sa'yo ng Diyos, which is a component of your personality, must be in line with what you do in your environment. Diba? That's the idea of this passage. Make sure they are matched. If God shaped you to prophesy, then your job in your environment must be to prophesy, which in this context is the church. Nagpa-prophesy ka sa church. Diba? Kasi God made you to be a prophet. Or let's say, you have a natural tendency to serve. Talagang you feel good serving other people, then that must be your role in the church. Or you have the energy to teach, you are really interested to teach, you are energized to teach, then your role in the church must be to teach. You see, that's the principle. So ganun din in our everyday life, even outside the church. Kinakailangan, if you want to improve your well-being, meron kang person-environment fit in the context of students like you, in connection to your courses. If you want to be motivated to study, if you want to have a good experience studying, one way to do that is to make sure that your chosen course is in accordance to your personality. So that's a good question to ask. For those of you listening right now, does your course suit your personality? Sa Tagalog, bagay ba yung kurso mo sa personality mo? That's one of the reasons why a student is not motivated to study. The subjects, the program that he or she is in is not in line with the personality. At marami akong kilalang ganyan. Ang hilig talaga music. Talagang laman ng utak niya, yung feeling niya, yung actions niya for a musician. Pero nag-aaral lang business. Question, can you expect this student to be motivated to study business courses? Siguro pwede, pero pilit, hindi natural sa kanya. That student needs a lot of motivation to continue studying business when his heart is on music. So you ask yourself, anong course mo? Psychology, di ba? Yung course mo ba na psychology in line with your personality? If your answer is no, then think twice continuing in the program. Kasi ikaw rin naman yung magsasuffer pag hindi in line yung personality mo with what you're studying. It will affect your motivation. You can also apply this later on after school in choosing a career. They say, choose a career that you love. Choose a career that you're passionate about. I agree. But you have to dig deeper. Why would someone become passionate in a career? Natural yan eh. Hindi naman yan yung, merong career A, may career B. I will train myself to be passionate about career B. Hindi eh. Passion just appears. Passion is just felt. You are exposed in this environment and you feel the passion. Oops, I like to do this. Napunta ka sa school, you were asked to teach. Oops, from the very day I thought for the first time, I know I'm meant to be a teacher. Such as, ako, ganyan ako eh. Talagang alam ko na that I am meant to be a teacher because I have passion for teaching. 'Di ba? Ang question, bakit? Saan nanggaling yung passion? Sa personality mo. 'Di ba? You are shaped by God to be naturally inclined to go towards a certain area. Some people go towards numbers. Some people go towards teaching. Some people go towards music. And once people find those areas that they are supposed to go to, then passion will be felt. Ganun yun eh. Kaya dapat alam mo yung personality mo. Because by knowing your personality, it will give you a clue which areas, which career paths are you passionate about. Kasi kapag hindi mo alam yung personality mo, you will just, sa Tagalog, mangangapa ka lang. You will be lost finding out what you really want to do in life. So if you want to find out, ito yung application na to, if you want to find out what your passion is, what are you really meant to do in this life, you start with who you are. Get to know your personality. What's your personality profile? What are the different environments out there in line, suitable with my personality? Then maybe one of those environments will be my passion. Kaya ngayong MBTI, alam nyo ba, there are some websites after you take MBTI, they will give you suggestions on what careers you can take. And this is based on their many studies that these career choices are in line or suitable with a certain typology. Kumbaga sa Tagalog, ito yung mga trabaho na bagay given a certain typology. So kung ISTP ka, ito yung mga career na bagay sa'yo. Kung ESFP ka, ito yung mga careers na bagay sa'yo. So I highly suggest that you do this and see if the course that you're taking is in line with the career choice that is suitable given your typology. At alam nyo ba yung personality test, no? It also helps you achieve person-environment fit in terms of helping you find the right person for you. Remember, the right person for you who is going to be your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, ano yan eh, part din yan ng environment mo. Girlfriend mo, boyfriend mo, asawa mo, environment mo rin yan eh. So you have to make sure that you marry the right person in terms of personality. And personality test can help you do that. Merong role ang personality test with relationships. Like, if you want to have a happy marriage according to studies, you need to find a partner who is very similar to you at the same time complementary to you, given your personality. Sa simpleng Tagalog, meron talagang mga taong bagay ang personality, bagay sila sa isa't isa, at may mga tao na hindi talaga sila bagay sa isa't isa. So this is one of the considerations you have to think about in choosing a lifetime partner. Bagay ba yung personality ninyo? Unfortunately, many people don't even think that way, no? Especially non-psych majors. Because most non-psych majors, they base their decisions in entering relationships in feelings. So kahit yung personality nila hindi bagay, hindi sila jive, hindi sila matched, hindi sila suitable for each other, but since the feelings are so strong, they have the illusion that they are meant to be together. Pero in the long run, doesn't work. Sa simula lang, 'di ba? Ang sweet, opposite world. We love each other. We overcome our differences. But if you think long-term marriage, marami nasisira. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi binase yung decision on personality compatibility. They base it on feelings. Kaya ako naniniwala ang relationship, although it involves feelings, it must involve more our heads. You think first, is this person's personality compatible with, suitable to my own personality? And what makes that person the right person for you? That person's personality is similar and complementary to you. But how would you know if that person has a personality that hits similarity and complementarity in connection to your own personality, may mga test naman dyan. Like, again, MBTI does that. Interesting. Look at this table. If this is your typology, the green boxes are typologies na bagay sa typology na yan. Okay? Kapag red, ito yung mga typologies that are not suitable given this typology. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get the table wrong. The table is not saying this won't work. No. It just means you need to be really, really patient with this person. You need to exert more effort to make the relationship work because you are in the red area. But if you find a person whose typology is here with you in connection to your typology, a green one, ito yung mga relationships na parang no effort. Ang dali-daling pakisamahan, nagja-jive kayo, magkasundo kayo sa relationships. So, less problems compared to those people whose typologies are within the red area. They need more patience. They need more understanding because of the incompatibility of their personality attributes. Pero again, pwede pa rin mag-work. Kailangan mo lang talagang pag-effortan. Kasi nga in the first place, hindi suitable yung typology nyo with each other. Alright? So given all these things about how important personality tests are, I hope you're not surprised that your assignment after this is to take those personality tests that we discussed today. The Big 5 personality tests and the MBTI. Para din sa inyo yan, no? Para alam nyo kung ano ba yung mga current na ugali nyo. For those of you who have taken this before, you take it again because studies show that results in personality tests may also change from time to time. Para alam nyo currently kung ano yung personality nyo, you take it again. Just in case you have already taken this before. Alright, so I hope you learned something new for today. That ends our session for today. Until next time, Sir Howard here. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.